Toyota, clearly it's under pressure from its dealers. Its dealers are saying, why don't you have any electric cars? And the ones you have suck, and the ones you have, there's hardly any available. And Toyota is saying, well, we've got this really cool graphic. We've got a graphic designer. In fact, we've got a team of graphic designers. We've got like 100 graphic designers. They came up with this really cool poster. Basically, all it comes down to this is that, well, we don't make EVs because, well, there's not enough minerals. Not enough lithium, not enough nickel, not enough cathode material, not enough of anything. We can't do it. It's all too hard. But actually, don't tell anyone we said this, because we're telling the media, yeah, we're going to make lots of EVs, but we're going to tell you, no, we're not. This is all getting very weird. I sound crazy just saying it, but that's basically what Toyota's saying, and I'm repeating it, and I feel like I'm a mad person repeating the madness that's coming from Toyota. Am I mad? I feel mad. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Evans. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you here. If you're new to the channel, Toyota has said the reason EVs won't work is because there's only enough lithium in the world for each electric car to have a single 1 kilowatt hour battery. Basically, that's not even big enough for a hybrid. So basically, Toyota is saying we couldn't possibly even hybridize the world's cars because there's not enough lithium. Is there any factual truth to that statement? No, there's enough lithium for actually enough hundreds and hundreds of millions of electric cars. But even if that were feasible, even if that were to happen, it's not going to happen. The reason being is that CATL and BYD, the two biggest battery companies in the world by a pretty good margin, they both have sodium-ion batteries. And on this channel, I've talked about how sodium-ion batteries will take a major percentage of the electric car market. However, there's a lot of new technologies coming out, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't include lithium. Include, in fact, different batteries with less lithium than what we use now. And if you add to that the sodium-ion batteries, if you add to that all the mines, if you add to that the new lithium refinery processes we've seen and I've talked about on this channel that significantly improve the lithium recovery from the lithium raw content, everything's changing. I don't think Toyota has kept up with any of this. They've said they've been working on solid-state batteries. Toyota said in 2015 that they had a solid-state battery prototype. It worked. They would have it in their EVs by 2018. Then they said, no, it'll be in 2019, 2020, 21. And they said, no, it'll be in 2022. When it came around to 2021, Toyota just said nothing. I think Toyota just doesn't know what's going on. They're basically pretending to have their heads in the sand, or maybe they do know what's going on. But anyway, let's have a look at what Toyota says are the reasons why they don't have any EVs today. Well, they do, but only 0.2% of their car production now is electric. And why they say that it would be a bad strategy to have EVs today. They say that having hybrids is better for the environment. And what they've published and shown to dealers is they've said there's just too many hurdles for EV adoption, both for manufacturers and for consumers. And they defended their strategy of focusing on hybrid systems instead. Toyota lists 3 main reasons for why EV adoption is problematic. It's not a good idea, really. We should just sort of tiptoe into the future, because the future includes hydrogen, plug-in hybrids, magical regenerating hybrids that just, they're called self-charging. Toyota has them today. They just charge themselves via magic. No one knows how they work, but Toyota was forced to stop that advertising campaign because it was deemed as being false. That's true. I'm not making that up, by the way. Now, Toyota says the biggest problems are this: not enough critical minerals, lithium, nickel, or processed cathodes and anode materials, which will severely limit EV production in the coming years, meaning from now. Interesting to see lithium prices have come down so much so far this year. Apparently there's not enough lithium. Well, maybe someone should tell Toyota that Chinese refineries have stopped refining lithium because they have too many stockpiles of lithium. That's actually a factual story. It's not a YouTube made up bogus story. That's a true factual story. Some lithium refineries have actually stopped producing lithium because there's too much. They have too much of it. Now, that's obviously going to be a temporary thing. That won't be something that will go on for a long time. It's just a matter of supply and demand. You get more orders in, you start production up again. I'm sure that'll happen. But the point is, there's definitely enough lithium. If Toyota tells companies, gives them a few years of warning, we want a lot of lithium, they'll mine it, they'll refine it, someone will get it done. companies will get it done. However, Toyota says, no, it's just, it can't be done. Too hard. This problem it'll go well into the future and this will never be solved. Toyota says the second problem is this. There's a lack of public charging infrastructure. I mean, millions of charging stations in China is not enough. It doesn't matter what the public does in the future, there just won't be enough charging points, especially DC fast charging. Now, Toyota argues that EVs will be prohibitively expensive for the majority of consumers, and this just isn't going to change. They're just too expensive. That's why EV adoption is going to be very slow. Toyota's telling this to its dealers. I wonder if its dealers believe this stuff. I mean, are its dealers not aware of the reality here, which is that in China, EVs in many cases are actually cheaper than internal combustion engine vehicles? That if we follow the continued cost declines in the cost of batteries, well, we went from $500 per kilowatt hour down to $100 per kilowatt hour. General Motors is saying they'll hit 87 within the next 18 months. Many companies are saying they're already at that figure. Other companies such as CATL and BYD are already at about $85 per kilowatt hour. That means that internal combustion engines are pretty much on parity with the cost to make a car with lithium iron phosphate batteries. So we're already pretty much at price parity today if you can make it efficiently, if you mass produce it. Mass production here is the key. Obviously, Toyota doesn't mass produce EVs, so their costs are significantly higher than, say, Tesla's. So after pointing out these issues, Toyota says that a production focus on mild hybrids, as in hybrids with very small batteries, will be better for its customers, better for the world, they're better for the environment. And in turn, that results in higher sales for Toyota, higher sales for its dealers. Now, Toyota believes that by prioritizing the sale of hybrid vehicles, it can produce far more cars for the same amount of scarce resources, and it can basically, win the game of producing the most cars, making the most money, and getting ahead, enriching its dealers, enriching itself. In fact, Toyota says in this graphic that for every EV it can produce, it can manufacture 90 hybrids. So it says it can make 90 hybrids for the same cost as one EV, the same amount of battery resources. Now, is this actually true? Well, let's have a look at what size is battery pack in a Toyota Prius. Well, the Toyota Prius battery pack is an 8.8 kilowatt hour battery. The average EV battery size is around about 60 kilowatt hours in size. Now, 60 divided by 8.8 equals that number there. Toyota, if you're watching, actually it's 6.8. 6.8. Yeah. 6.8 to 90. That's quite a stretch. I mean, even if you put a 1 kilowatt hour battery, which is about the size of a battery pack in a bicycle. Many bikes have a 1 kilowatt hour battery in them, by the way. It's pretty standard in the industry, 900 watt hours. Anyway, if you put a tiny 1 kilowatt hour battery, which Toyota doesn't have any EVs with a 1 kilowatt hour battery in them, none. If you did that though, that would mean you could have your 90 that Toyota is saying. The average battery size in the market is not 90 kilowatt hours. It's nowhere near. The average is closer, in fact, globally to about 48, 50. It depends on what country you're looking at, but it's nowhere near 90. And the size of the battery packs in every Toyota vehicle is significantly greater than a 1 kilowatt hour battery. In fact, like I said, the Prius is 8.8. What about the Toyota RAV4 Prime? That's a plug-in hybrid. Toyota make that car. That's probably Toyota's most popular EV right now. Pretty long wait list for that, I've heard. Well, that's got an 18.1 kilowatt hour battery. So you could get 3 EVs out of that, but Toyota is saying they can get 90. I'm not sure how they're doing this, like this magical mathematics they're coming up with. Does anyone... I actually would love the mathematicians and the people who can use a calculator to let me know in the comments what I'm getting wrong here. Like my calculator, there's something wrong with it. I can't figure this out. So clearly the big thing here is product. Toyota don't really make many EVs, and the ones that they do make are not particularly affordable, at least not for Toyota to make anyhow. Now other companies are making them affordably. Most of those companies are in China. And most of those companies will end up disrupting Toyota and probably just putting it out of business. Toyota's bizarre attitude is it's not just an attitude, it's like a sickness. Right now they're lobbying against EV adoption. Greenpeace and other organisations are trying to take Toyota to court to say you need to stop doing this. In fact, Toyota won several prizes from several organisations last year for spending more money and time lobbying against EVs than oil companies. Let me know your thoughts about all this in the comments. How do you feel if you're a dealer and you get this information from Toyota and you know that it's just made up? How do you feel about it? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.